Hello, I am back. It feels like just yesterday that we've talked. How are you doing? I am making a video again today. In fact, I will be making videos every day this week. I said that out loud. Now I guess I have to sort of keep. I think I mentioned that on yesterday's video. So okay, it's a thing. I'm making a video today because I'm making stuff this week. I want to have a plan to produce content. I hate that word, content. It feels like It feels like this just pre-packaged thing that I can just throw out. But I want to be making stuff on a regular basis, and part of that means, no, I mean, that is kind of what that means, just making stuff on a regular basis. Most of that is not going to be on this channel, but during this week, I do want to let you know about all of the stuff that I'm doing, and so that's what's going to be happening here. And this, today, Mondays, are blog post days. So I do have cheerskevin.com. There'll be a link to the blog post in the description. I've put up a new post on it. It's not very good, but I want to try and take I want to practice those skills and try and learn to write again. I want to talk a bit about writing on the video today because I feel like, well, if I'm making a video, just be like, hey, there's a thing. I should at least give you something worth listening to / I don't know. I want to talk a little bit about writing because I'm interested to see what everyone's sort of experience is with writing. I think I have a very weird audience in that I have like a very high male to female ratio, but I also have a weird age ratio, and in the comments it's the opposite. So I have the comment section is not representative of the people who. Well, actually, I don't know. I don't know of the people who watch. I know what the subscriber base is. There's probably a lot of difference. But I'm interested to know people's relationships with writing. So I want to talk a little bit about my experiences with writing. I got into writing in high school because, that's the emo poetry times. And where better to write emo poetry than on LiveJournal, where you can share it with your other emo friends, which was amazing. I was not really an emo character. I was the nerdy, know-it-all, talks too much, obnoxious guy character, but I emo poetry just the same because it felt like another way to try and overachieve. I was a pretty obnoxious high schooler. But anyway, I actually found that I very much enjoyed trying to write stuff and trying to envision different scenarios. And I ended up taking a creative writing class my junior year. I ended up taking something like 4 different English classes that year because I was like, I just wanna. And creative writing was basically considered to be one of the senior Slack classes. So it's like, take it, just get your grade and leave. But I was in there, I was like, I want to learn. I want to learn how to write amazing things because this is going to be my life. And we had a substitute teacher for the majority of that time because the real teacher, I think, was on maternity leave. The substitute teacher really, I think because he was a substitute teacher, he was like not burnt out on students. And so he's like, I'm going to try and encourage you, which was great. And I ended up writing like a short story that I submitted to some thing that I can't even remember right now. And I went to this like writing gathering thing at like a college. And it was weird because I got in there and I'm like, oh, wow, okay, you guys are like actual like real writers and stuff. And I was like, yep, I'm in way over my head. I have no idea what the heck is going on. Although I feel like that was probably just like the high school thing of like, oh, there are people who can act competent. I don't know what's going on. I actually went to college. Initially, I was like, I am going to be an English major, and I want particularly to write. I want to become better at that whole thing. And then I switched into music at a later point. I don't entirely remember why. And then I switched out of that into computer science, but it kind of dropped the whole English thing. Oh, and I should also say, no, and take this back. Back in high school, the senior year, I was on the newspaper staff, and I had I was the managing editor, which mostly meant walking around trying to get small little ad sponsorships for our school newspaper and stuff, and managing all of the paid and that whole thing, which was crazy. But I also did get to write a column in every monthly edition, which was a lot of fun because I just went kind of crazy in it. It wasn't about anything. It was just weird. And I found that to be much more entertaining than it was. I discovered that my mom had saved a thing that she got all of them, and I looked and I was like, oh God, this is terrible. So I don't even know why I brought that up. But then I'm thinking about YouTube in particular. My first year or two on YouTube, or I guess I had this year of just trying to make a video every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And part of that was that I was actually scripting probably 95% of the stuff. And I don't do that now. I probably should do that now, but I don't. But I did discover, which was interesting to me, that because of the way that the YouTube, kind of YouTube editing style worked, it actually made sense for me to write scripts in 4-line stanzas and then just get through a stanza in a take before then, repositioning yourself. I should not move. This is not a mic that bears a lot of off-axis stuff. So, but basically you get through a stanza. And so I have somewhere on some computer and some hard drive somewhere, there are just a whole bunch of text files that are basically just YouTube scripts in poem form, which is very weird. And then I guess the last sort of experience with writing is this is always something that I wanted to. I've never made sufficient time for it. But November of last year, I decided I was going to do my first NaNoWriMo. And so I have here Spacewalk, a novel by me with a terrible cover also made by me. And I haven't read it because if I remember correctly when writing it, it was terrible. So I don't really have any inclination to read it. I say novel, it's like just barely over 50,000 words. And it was the sort of thing where it's like, I have this sort of idea. And I just sat down, like, I'm going to force myself to write. And I got to the word count. And the story had just become a complete train wreck. And so I just sort of tried to wrap it up because I didn't have a structure or plan in place. Because the times when I've gone and tried to actually structure out a plot, it ends up being just terrible. I don't know. Maybe at some point I'll go back and start. I should probably at least read through this and then just make a whole bunch of editing notes so that if I die and somebody finds this, they don't think like, oh, this was the secret thing he was super proud of. That's a really morbid way to motivate yourself, but who knows? But now I'm trying to get a post up on TrioSKevin.com once a week on Mondays. That is sort of the plan. And I'm hoping that it will give me some accountability to actually sit down and force myself to write. And I'd like to go from that point to actually sitting down and actually trying to write more fictional type of stuff. I think I probably want to experiment with short stories again. I have a novel idea that's been kicking around for a long time, and I just can't figure out quite the right angle of... I don't know. I have these ideas, and I don't know how to make them quite work. And it even feels weird talking about it because it feels like... I don't know, like you see an interview with like a established like huge author and they're like, oh, well, I've got these ideas in my head and blah, blah, blah. You're like, okay, it's an artist talking about their process. And then to hear myself be like, I've got these ideas, but like, dude, you're a computer programmer who hasn't written anything. Like it's not like we're in my process. Anyway. That's my experience with writing. Again, if you want to go ahead and read the blog post, it's nothing to do with anything in this video, by the way. It's more talking about depression and happiness a little bit, and I tried to actually stop myself before I wrote too much because I'm trying to just establish the pattern of doing stuff. But if you find that interesting, go ahead and click down on the link below. I'm going to be doing my best probably not to pimp out the majority of the stuff after this week. So this is kind of... what is it? Sweeps week. Yeah. Yeah. So that's what's going on. Otherwise, let me know in the comments down below. What are your experiences with writing? Are you the type of person that enjoys writing? Did you have to write in school? Was it a miserable experience? Was it a good experience? What do you do now? Are you the type of person who journals on a regular basis? Are you the type of person that does, do you write fan fiction? Do you write real fiction? Do you write, I shouldn't say real, that's a false dichotomy. I apologize for that. But what is your experience with writing? And I guess I'm ruining the sample by requiring the people who write comments, but, writing comments counts. So Anyway, I hope you're having a great day, and I will see you with another video. This is actually already recorded and already sort of uploaded. It's secret right now, but you will see that on Tuesday. So stay tuned for that. Cheers.